term performance management is used a lot in business, and sometimes I think it's used without an understanding, a complete understanding of what performance management actually entails. So how can you ensure that you're actively managing performance? So I'll give you 3 ways in which you can do this. One is to start by documenting your annual objectives. If you can cascade your annual objectives from the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the year, ensure that each person understands what their objectives are for the year, and you make them very quantifiable, as quantifiable as possible. I think that will be the first place for you to start. So when I say quantifiable, what do I mean? So for instance, if you say that you're going to be increasing your footprint, what will that look like? Which towns do you want to go into? Which markets do you want to enter? And define these markets so that, when you do get to assessing that person's performance, you can indeed determine whether they have indeed increased their footprint the way that you had agreed to do it at the beginning of the year. The second thing is to ensure that you're having consistent conversations on performance. Managing performance is a process. Performance management is what you call it. So when you're managing performance, you're consistently having performance conversations in the year. So make it a practice with your team members to speak about where you're at on different objectives, challenges that they are encountering as they go about achieving their objectives. And that way, you're able to support them as they work on achieving their objectives. So that performance management is not an event that is done in the beginning or the end of the year or middle of the year, but people are consistently having conversations around how they are performing, and they're consistently getting feedback on how they're doing during the year. The third thing that you could do is put in place a properly documented appraisal process. How are you going to be appraising people? What aspects are you going to take into consideration when appraising people's performance? A well-documented process that is supported by a performance management policy is also important, because that also guides you on how you're going to be rewarding people who perform well, and how you're going to be handling the non-performance. Discipline issues as well during performance will be documented in your policy, and that's important because of the labor laws here in Kenya. So if you start by doing these 3 things, I'm sure you're going to start seeing a difference in terms of what your team is able to achieve. And remember, what gets measured gets done. So that's all for today. I look forward to speaking to you next time. I'm Sheila Kariuki, your business advisor. Bye-bye.